Welcome to another episode of the Journey to Creativity. I'm in a very, very special episode here today with an amazing guest that I'm so excited to introduce to you. She is a British-born, Canadian-raised, soulful powerhouse singer, songwriter, and musician. She's a perpetual explorer and seeker of raw, true, and authentic, stripped-down expression. She's the killer vocalist of psychedelic rockers Gone Cosmic, who, by the way, just released recently, early this year, their album Sideways in Time with the German label Cosmic Artifacts Records on April this year, yes. And here I give you the amazing Abbie Thurgood. Welcome.
Oh my goodness, what an intro. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. By the way, you can follow her on her Instagram account, Abbie Thurgood, Facebook page, Abbie Thurgood, Twitter account, Abbie Thurgood. It's pretty easy. I'm going to write that down anyways. And for following Gone Cosmic, and if you want to get their album, you can find it at gonecosmic.bandcamp.com. Their Instagram, Gone Cosmic, Facebook page, Gone Cosmic, YouTube and Spotify, Gone Cosmic as well. So look it up, because honestly, I was like headbanging, like I was telling you, hard with your album.
We love that.
So good, so good. It really took me back to those like 15 years ago or more.
Oh, that's awesome.
I was like feeling it so deeply. By the way, Fade Release was my favorite song. But I just But the album though, it's the entirety of it. Like it's
a journey.
It is a journey.
Yeah. Oh, that's incredible. Thank you. Yeah, no, we're incredibly proud of our cosmic baby, Sideways in Time.
You should be, for sure.
Oh, thank
it's
you.
Amazing. Yeah, and listening to it live, for sure.
Yeah, Ship and Anchor, that was such a good show.
It was such a good
really enjoyed that show. Yeah, we kind of felt as though we'd hit a different universe together, which is really cool to have that connection with your bandmates on stage and be able to bring audience with us and experience a whole unknown world, essentially.
Yeah, I loved what I found researching you. I found this interview for Gone Cosmic at Breathing the Core.
Yeah.
And this is what you guys said about the name. You said, "We think it really suits the experience we try to provide in our live performance. The band and the audience venturing on an unknown, dynamic, experiential voyage together."
Yeah.
I just love that.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's exactly how it felt to me.
Oh, I'm really happy to hear that.
Trip.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It gets weird.
Highly recommended. I'm going to be sharing it when I post this episode.
Okay.
I'll showcase it. So, Abbie, it's such an honor to have you here. Seriously, I really admire you as a singer. It's so much respect.
When you asked me, I was like, oh yeah, that's amazing. I'm in. I'm absolutely in.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
That's a great honor for me. And as you know, this is a creativity podcast where we talk about what is all of this. So I want to start by asking you, what is music for you? What is that? Yeah, I know it's a lot. Open question.
Yeah, I mean, music to me has always been a part of who I am. It's in my blood. It's the reason as to why I'm here. I think everybody has a calling or something they have to find for themselves, but I think music in a whole is the ability to really express yourself in the most vulnerable way. And for those that are, don't feel as though they're musically inclined, just anyone in life, everybody will always relate to music. There's not a person I've met that hates music.
So true.
No matter what. I mean, there's always a song or anything that anyone can sit down to and find and be able to relate to those words or to relate to that melody, or the energy of a song is very important as well. So I think it's like one of the tools we have in life that is gives you the ability, no matter where you are in life, to sit back and really feel what you're feeling. I think a lot of people get so busy and they overload themselves, and no matter where you are if you're in your car, like I have been multiple times, and I just crank my music and I'm either singing along or I'm crying and trying not to cry because I'm driving, kind of thing. Music has the ability to make people actually feel human.
Wow.
I think that's what that is to me.
That's deep. Yeah.
It was a deep question.
I know. Yeah, I love this. And so that is music. And what about expression? Like the fact of creating, the creativity part, what the part of when the music is like coming out of you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that for me is more of a processing stage. So if I'm going through something or I have witnessed something, most of what I write definitely comes from personal experience, or I put myself in other situations in my mind to kind of, even though I've never been in certain situations, to kind of try and understand what other people have gone through and what certain situations are like. So for me, it's definitely just a processing. You're going through the emotions, you're trying to line them up, and then you're releasing them. So for me with my music and what I write, it's a release. It's a release.
It feels like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't hold back. And it's pretty wild because I started when I was 14, more of a country blues folk kind of vein of music. Explored that for quite a while, and then I was in my previous project, which was a Motown-inspired doo-wop kind of group, and I loved all of that. But I was always searching for something to really represent who I am. So when I totally by chance found out about these three guys looking for a vocalist, Darty, our lead guitar player of Gone Cosmic, emailed me and sent me their 7 demos that they had recorded in the basement. And I listened to these songs and I was just completely blown away because it was unlike anything I've ever tried to write to, but it felt really natural to write to. It felt like a home for like everything I'd been building up to that point, if that makes sense. So
it does.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. It was like all of a sudden the universe was like, and you're ready.
Wow.
Yeah.
It actually, it's amazing because you also had like a very short time, or I mean, I don't know what is a short time, but you only had a few weeks, right? To
Yeah.
write.
Yeah. So we essentially I came and with those demos I sat at Weeds Cafe and I wrote to 2 of the songs. And I auditioned. So I went to this house. I'd never met these guys before. Calgary is so vast in music scenes. There's so many different pockets of genres and people that even though you think you know everyone, it is a small town. You don't. So I walked in and they were so kind and welcoming. And we went downstairs and jammed out the 2 songs that I had written too. Went really well, and we jived really well as humans, which is a really big part of the creative process. And then a week later, they invited me back, and Darty had bought a bottle of champagne from Costco to ask. They asked me to join the band. I'm like, well, yeah, obviously. So we celebrated right off the bat, and then they were like, oh, by the way, we have a show in about a month and a half, I think it was, booked. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And they were like, well, we didn't know if we were going to find a vocalist and we just want to play live. And these songs are wild enough that we can do them instrumentally, but now we have you. So here you go. And I was like, okay, pressure's on. But I think I was going through a time of my life where that was very welcome. I was going through a major transition. You get to points in your life where you look at everything you've done and you've gone, okay, was it good enough? Am I on the right track? Am I making myself proud? You reflect a lot on the, decisions you've made that aren't necessarily the best. and you kind of take yourself back and you draw a line and you accept yourself for who you are, who you have been, and who you will be. And you reset. It's like a master reset. And Gone Cosmic was that for me.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
A fresh new home.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
so
crazy.
with the album and the timeline that I had, I literally I set myself up in the back room of Weeds with the piano. I wasn't at the piano, but like it was my friend. And I sat on the couch with my laptop and an SM58 and my headphones, and I would very quietly hum melodies and track them through GarageBand. Wow. And I would be writing the album. So yeah.
Oh man, you just it's just crazy to me how this like life or the universe, like you said, like suddenly put you in the exact place, because it just seems like you guys, like when I saw you guys at Ship and Anchor,
Yeah.
I was like, wow, you guys seem so cohesive, right? Like as if you were playing together for years.
Yeah,
it's insane.
I mean, part of us have Darty and Brett. They are stellar musicians in another band in town that have been around for over 10 years, Cron Goblin. So they are very well in tune with each other. The difference, though, is Brett plays drums in Cron Goblin, but he plays bass for us. So it's a little bit of a different mask he puts on. But they are so well versed in everything they do together. They are brothers. They really are brothers. And Marcello in the mix of that, like Marcello recorded Cron Goblin's first record or demo, first record. And so they have known each other for so long. They were jamming together for quite some time. It took them about 10 years to sit down and actually start writing. They were just jamming for fun. So they started writing Sideways in Time about a year before we found each other. Wow. And they were like, okay, no, it's time to take this a little bit more seriously. But they have that history together that they know the ins and outs of each other's creative processes. So for me to come in, I would have thought that it would be a little bit more daunting or intimidating, especially being that I'm taking myself out of my comfort zone entirely and jumping into this really kind of heavy, psychedelic, trippy, wild ride. But the guys were so awesome and welcoming, and they said, it wasn't just that they'd actually written 7 instrumental tracks for the album. And they were so welcoming. I came in and they were like, you know what, Abbie, like if you need to change anything about these songs, if you need more time here for this or whatever, anything you need, just let us know. And that brings it to like how open and honest our creative space is. It's a safe creative space. We agree most of the time. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes we're like, no, let's try this. But it's a very open, you can say exactly how you feel, and we can venture and create these songs together in a comfortable space.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so huge for the creative process to have
Huge. To feel as though there's no limitations or restrictions on anything that comes out of your mouth or is on those strings or hitting those drums. There's no mistakes. There's no judgments. It's a welcome, honest, and open environment. And I think that's why our songs are so different. It's not a scary place to venture in a completely left turn field in the same song that sounds now like a different song. So it's, I'm very thankful for it.
Wow, that's huge. Yeah, the safe space part is, I think it's one of the, I've read this also, or like the safe space part is just huge for creativity. And most of us just don't, for whatever reason, we either don't cultivate that space or we don't find or don't look for that space, and maybe
or don't even feel like you're capable for yourself to have that space. I mean, when I started writing songs, I would write these songs on my acoustic guitar and I wouldn't play them and I would get rid of them because I thought they were terrible. You know, like we are such our worst critics, and it's getting to that point that you're comfortable enough with yourself to accept yourself, accept your ideas, accept that, you know, whatever is being released out of you, it's for a reason. Not every song is going to be a number one hit. Like that's not a thing, but that shouldn't be the target of what you're trying to accomplish. I don't think. I think the reason that you're doing or creating should be for you. It should be for you.
For your own emotional processing.
Yeah,
your own...
Totally.
How is your creative process? How does it happen? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, for myself, if I'm sitting down at my house or anywhere that's comfortable for me, it's essentially I pick up a guitar, I find some chords that sound really, really nice together, or I'm vibing with that. And then as those chords, I will just keep playing them over and over, and eventually a melody will kind of be created. Once I'm happy with the melody, that's when the words will start. And I don't ever sit down with an idea of what I'm going to write about. It's essentially, it'll be like melody with like one word, and then it'll just fill itself out. It doesn't really, it's not really, I don't know how to explain it. It's a tough one. Yeah, it just kind of comes from my, like a different world. I don't even know how to explain it because it's not a thought process. It's a total, like, it's I'm stuck.
I love that you don't have words because it's actually kind of from another dimension.
Yeah, like
coming,
it's
right?
it is coming from me, but it's traveling through something and then making its way out of my brain. Like, it's the weirdest way to explain that, but I think other people can relate. When it comes to, I mean, there's so many different ways that work for people in the creative process. You can't define it. Right. There's no normal, you know, in life in general. I don't think there's a normal. If there's a normal, then it's likely boring.
Very true.
You know, it's like you have to just encourage yourself to be as you are.
And that's part of the reason why you haven't liked, or you have never really felt comfortable with being labeled with a determined style, because you're just trying to be as authentic as possible with whatever is trying to be expressed. Totally.
And I mean, even when I was doing my acoustic stuff, when I first started as a musician, I couldn't pinpoint a genre. Like you really couldn't pinpoint a genre because the songs that I was writing could go in different directions. It was kind of like an oddball. And Gone Cosmic really suits that because it is the oddest of oddballs.
I love it so much. It's such a trip.
Thank you.
You guys are channeling from a cosmic dimension.
Channeling for something.
For real. So what do you think, what have you found to be the most important thing that you need to gain this freedom, to have this, or to keep that freedom? Or how have you been sort of like polishing that freedom of expression?
Mm-hmm. I think just really taking and making the effort to understand myself. It's incredibly difficult. I've only really just kind of accepted me for who I am. But always staying true to myself and my values, and surrounding myself with good, beautiful people whose intentions are good. I think that's a really big part of it. But yeah, I mean, I think for me, it comes down to just like essentially my phrase is "you do you," if that makes sense. So
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So self-love, self-acceptance.
Totally. It's so huge, and it's not something that can be taught, but something that you can encourage in everybody around you as much as possible so they can reach that point as well.
Wow. And the people that are around you, nurturing that and nurturing each other's.
Yeah, I mean, it's all in harmony. And it's just, yeah.
Beautiful. I love it. Do you, of course you do, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Do you find that singing heals you?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, creative people are very emotional, very up and down, and we are weird, to put it lightly. We are such beautiful, strange creatures that, are rarely understood completely. But yeah, I think any form of creativity is, again, it's a release and it's a healing process. And I'm just incredibly thankful that I'm in a position that I have found what works for me, even when it gets difficult to write. Even when I hit that writer's block at sometimes, that definitely happens as well. But yeah, I mean, I'm thankful every day that music is a part of my life, because it's helped me get to where I am as a person and where I am in life.
Yeah, it's powerful. You mentioned creative block. I hadn't thought about that. How do you live those blocks? Like how do they look like? What happens?
It's just like a dry spell. Yeah, it's just like a dry spell. And thankfully, I'm knocking on wood here. Hasn't happened in quite some time, but essentially, I think it comes down again in moments in life where you're feeling a little lost, or you're feeling a little in the unknown realm of what's happening with you and your life. It's like you just don't know what to do. And yeah, for me, it just kind of everything dries up. But it's also a case of me making myself sit down with my guitar and making myself make time for that creative space, and figuring out how to draw inspiration from things that aren't just about myself. Yeah.
Do you find that in those moments of drought, that there's something that you are like maybe avoiding inside you, or something that you're trying, that you like are not willing to see?
And Great point. I mean, yeah, it's probably in times where it's a struggle. I'm struggling with something, and I'm not ready to either accept it or let it go, or even make an effort to figure out what it means. Because that is what music is for me. It's an inner workings of my brain. Like all the lyrics in Gone Cosmic songs are like my brain like exploding onto paper, which is a kind of really strange feeling, because when I was 12, I never had a diary, but I had a journal. I've always had a journal. And I would, going back to the writing process, I was never comfortable with anyone touching my journal. Like, no, this is a no-go zone. This is so personal. So taking those pages now at 25, well, since I was 14, and putting them out there for people to hear, it's a pretty bizarre feeling, but it, I don't know, maybe makes the experience or the acceptance a little bit more real.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Just by creating something that for people to listen, something musical, something artistic, you transformed it into something different. Like it's no longer just that feeling that you had, but now it's something that is cool to listen to, or is nice to listen to.
Yeah,
right?
and it's interesting, the process of like writing the song, performing the song for the first time, and if it's something that is really digging down into those heartstrings or that situation, and you're emotional about it, and then you're playing that song live and you're trying to hold back tears, and then as you accept it, or as you're starting to grow from it, a year down the line, you play that song, you're like, oh man, I haven't played that song in forever, nor have I thought about any of this. So it's kind of like differing chapters of your life.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's still, they do have the capacity to trigger you still.
Yeah, not as much emotionally for some of the songs that I've written that were, pretty deep down in the dark depths of my being. But that all comes with the growth of who I am as a person. So,
wow, they're like little gifts that you are leaving behind. Right? From each struggle you're leaving.
There you go.
Beautiful gift behind you. So there are challenges to this. There's always challenges. At some point you have had creative blocks. At some point you have not known where your career is going, right? Or you haven't had the musicians around you to help you grow and nurture you. What do you see as your main challenges today, now that you feel in this new home with Gone Cosmic?
Yeah.
Now,
main challenges today. Oh my gosh, I don't even know. Because I can go off on challenges in past.
maybe, yeah. If you want to talk about past challenges, and maybe that'll lead you to today.
Yeah, maybe. Challenges in a whole is like, as when you're creating with people, you trust them. When you're in a band, you're in a relationship, essentially. And it's hard. It's hard when band members transition, when they leave, when you leave, etc. I think that's hard. It's like you're willing to put your heart on the line for people, and when they don't accept it or they take advantage of it, it's a really hard thing to deal with, because it's just the essence of who you are is what you're sharing. So that's definitely a challenge, is finding, musicians are flighty. I love musicians. I am a musician. But finding a group of people that are as dedicated as you are, and as passionate as you are, and are as involved as you are, and have the hopes and dreams that you have for a project, it is incredibly hard to find.
Wow.
So I definitely feel very lucky to be in the situation I am now, because I trust those guys with every day. Trust them every day. They're stuck with me for a long time, and I'm stuck with them.
Hey, I'm sure they're so happy to have you stuck
I'm
with
stoked, so I hope they are.
Yeah, you all seem to be stoked.
Yeah. No, it's a good group. It's definitely a good group.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah, struggles today. I think maybe I've just changed my perspective, and I'm just trying to see the best of my situations, and put myself in a more optimistic mindset, because it's so easy to be negative. Negativity is so easily transferred to everyone around you. So I think I don't want to sound. I'm thankful to not be able to think of any personal challenges as being an artist right now. There's always things that will come up, but it's how you process them, react to them, and deal with it from there. So,
well, you have been so challenged in the past. I guess that now you're in a very good place right now.
Yeah, this last year and a bit has completely launched. Pun. In this last year, I wouldn't even recognize the Abbie that existed a year and a half ago to now. Yeah, I've gone through some huge personal growth, which is not easy. It's not easy to stare yourself down and really accept the demons, accept the choices, decisions, as I mentioned earlier. But finding that love, you just have to put yourself first and really understand what it is that you want and what you need. And I was you focus your energy on something, and if you wish it, you make it happen. You have to. So
when an idea comes.
Yeah. I mean, change too, like change has been a big theme of my past year and a half here. And being able to accept that change, to have your arms open to that change, even though you're getting yanked out of your comfort zone, you are in a totally different realm in all aspects of my life in the last year and a half.
Morphed.
Yeah, exactly. So, but for the better.
For the better, for sure.
For the better. Yeah.
But I guess when we're on those changes, we don't really necessarily see them as good.
No, it's so easy to be stuck and focus in the, what if, what if this happened? What if this happened? What if I said this? What if? But instead of focusing on those things, it's focusing on the present self and how, okay, I'm feeling this specific way, and which direction am I going to decide to take that? And really understanding that at the end of the day, I can only control what I'm doing. I think that was a big lesson that I finally was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I can't control what other people are doing. I can just trust in them that they will do good. So that's been a big thing for me.
And self-development, self-growth.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's so funny. I think back at like 18-year-old Abbie, and I was like, I know everything. I know it all. I am so smart. And now I look back and I'm 25 and I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. But that's the whole theory of it, right? That's the whole experience.
Have you incorporated some like daily practices to help you stay positive, to help you love yourself, or I don't know, read some books? How did you go through being, lost and being moved and desperate, sort of like within the changes, and when we feel everything is bad, to being like, okay, if I focus on myself, only what I can control, if I focus on my self-love, how did that happen?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was crazy because like my job changed, my relationship had dissolved, my previous band I said farewell to, so it was really a full master reset at the time. So I was really able to focus in on my own needs, what I want, and sitting down and writing those out, and not accepting anything less. I think that's a huge part of it. Is knowing my worth. Is absolutely knowing my worth, and I thank my mom for that.
Wow.
Yeah, she instilled that for sure.
Wow. That's so important. Oh my God.
Oh, it's hugely important. It's hugely important. Yeah. So, I think that sums it up for what my experience was anyways. Yeah.
Life changed, but I bet it changed because you were making decisions. I mean, you leaving a band, saying farewell to your previous band, you ending a previous relationship, everything, whether it came from outside or you said it sort of like was your decision. And at some point you were like, I am worth more.
Totally.
And you made these changes, you took these steps, and look at you now.
Look at you. Yeah, I mean, and I'm extremely thankful for where I am, for how I treat myself, and for the people that are around me. Very thankful. Yeah. Including you.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, no, I'm really, really happy to be here.
Yeah, wow. So it wasn't even, because I've been on this personal development journey. I've been reading quite a few books and like sort of including certain routines in my day so that I can keep myself sane.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
'Cause
I got you.
sometimes you're like in this
I feel you. Yeah.
loop of every single day, and you have to like do something, like
Yeah.
take yourself, slap yourself a little bit, you know, and like get going.
Yeah.
But for you, from what I'm hearing, it was the people that were around you that helped you notice your worth and that you deserved better.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it just, it came down to, you know, stopping for a second and looking around. Like, nobody ever stops to take a second to look around and truly evaluate the situation and the cost that giving yourself to everything and everyone, just in the sense of emotional support for other people and, you know, playing as many shows as possible and all of these other aspects of it. And thinking, okay, what is this doing for me? What is it doing to me? And there's reasons as to why I'm not feeling great right now. So like pinpointing them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I just thought of something that would be interesting to ask.
Uh-oh.
In this whole, like, it is somewhere in between all these like life struggles and the fact that you are a female singer, does that like have you felt any impact for being a woman? Like,
I mean, life. I feel like we've grown as a society, but definitely, I mean, there's times that I am looked at as an object. There's times I'm walking down the street with my guys and Gone Cosmic and I'm catcalled. Unfortunately, it's something, I hate to say it, that I know most women have experienced. But when it comes to me being on stage, that stage is it's a totally different platform. And I like to think I hold myself in a way that people know not to fuck with me. Because I'm not going to take their shit. And when I am catcalled, I call you out. And when those little things happen, they're not little, but when those things happen, I'm not somebody that's going to back down. If I'm uncomfortable or if I feel I'm being taken advantage of, I'm going to let you know. So, I mean, it's definitely hard. To be viewed as an equal and to, you know, it's shitty that we're still talking about these things that happen to us as women. 'Cause it really, like, come on, wake up. Like, no. But I feel like a lot, like all of these beautiful, incredible, powerful women are stepping up and they are shutting it down. Yes. And that is powerful because that's in numbers. And that is just like, no, you've had your turn. It's our world now. But essentially, I mean, even like the world wouldn't be here without us. And that recognition needs to be all the time. But I'm also very, I'm the kind of, like, I'm feminist in the sense that I do believe that women should see other women not as competition, but as allies, as warriors, and as powerful people that we can learn from and we can teach them. And it's this like continuous back and forth. But I also think that men cannot be put down because of our history. Essentially, we're all here together and we all need to recognize each other for our own powers because we are all here to help each other and grow. So that's my that's my thoughts on that.
Wow, I love it. And you are one of those powerful women
Oh,
that you say
thank
that are
you.
out there changing it, because you on stage are so powerful. And I actually had that that feeling when I've seen you on stage. I'm like, wow, she is trying to make herself as someone that you can fuck with me. That's exactly what I feel. And I'm like, that's why I thought this would be, I'd love to know what you think. And I appreciate you saying these things. I feel the same way. We need to empower each other. We need to support each other. And we need, not fight against men, just include them in the conversation.
Totally.
Look at the situation from our perspective as well. And it's crazy that I don't know any single woman, and I don't know any single one, which is sad, that hasn't experienced either the worst things from to the most minimal cat talk in the street, or you know, we all have experienced it to a certain level. So I think it's important to put it out there, to talk about this, and and
to talk about the things that are completely uncomfortable, because you know, there's a lot of shame, even though it's not warranted. People don't talk about their experience because they are shamed by it, and they're saddened by it, and they're, you know, they don't want to think that that could happen to them in any form of degree of what we're talking about. And that needs to change, because we need to understand that it is okay, and we will get through it, and we can support each other through it. And the world needs to understand that treatments like this are not okay, and they will not stand.
Yeah, we won't stand it.
No.
We're not going to stand
Absolutely
it.
not.
Not anymore.
No.
The world is changing.
It is. It is. It is. It absolutely is.
Yes. Oh my God. Thank you so much for being here. This has been a great, great conversation.
Hey, thanks for having
me. You've shared
me.
so much of your wisdom and your personal experiences, and I appreciate that so much. Is there anything, like last words, that you would like to say for people that are listening to you right now?
Oh, geez. Ultimately, I would just say keep doing you. I think, you know, you're doing what's best for you, and if you think you're not, then like I said, take a second, reevaluate your situations, and really navigate it. And it's okay to be selfish sometimes. That's definitely a key factor, because ultimately you need to make sure that you're okay. And as artists in any form, we are emotional, we struggle, we go through things, and, you know, and we go through great things, and we go through great times. But balance it and accept it and feel it, and process it, and then throw it into the song, throw it at the wall in paint, and destroy whatever you need to, and express yourself. I think that's what more humans need to learn how to do.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Thank you so much.
Hey, thank
Abbie.
you. Thanks for having me.
Once again, I'll remind everyone, you can find Abbie as Abbie Thurgood on every single platform, Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. And Gone Cosmic also on Bandcamp. You can get their album, which is amazing. Please do. I loved it. On Instagram, Gone Cosmic, Facebook, YouTube, and Spotify. Just look Gone Cosmic and you'll be able to listen to this amazing, amazing first album that they just released this year. So thank you so much for listening. Can't wait to hear you and read your comments. And I'll see you on the next time.